Yeah, let me see what we've got there at the shop. So we only have like one or two of those, I think, so. But let me look and see what's there. Don't really have any mowers, I don't think, so I just have weed eaters.
Warm. Okay. I call this meeting to order for Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Susan Payne,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dusty Wright,
Here.
Commissioner Sharon McDonald,
Here.
Commissioner Josh Reardon,
Here.
Commissioner Stephen Burnett will be absent today, Commissioner Carl Melton,
Here.
Commissioner Nick Paul,
Here.
Acting City Manager Stephanie Hernandez,
Here.
City Attorney Ashley Smith.
Here.
The clerk is present. Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Rachel. We are going to start with our invocation given by Pastor Shelby Moon of Westminster Presbyterian Church. First time here. Thank you for coming. And then our pledge is going to be led by Commissioner Paul.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we acknowledge your grace and mercy toward us in so many ways. We thank you for the rain that you recently bestowed upon us. We thank you for the opportunity to take upon ourselves the business of this city. We pray for your wisdom for our leaders. We ask that all would be done with goodwill and unity of mind and heart. We pray that you would be pleased to bless this chamber and this city, and we ask that it would be a light on a hill. We pray all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Am I on? Can you hear me? Yes?
Just a little bit.
Okay. So we're going to start with the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
A motion from Commissioner Melton. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, and motion carries 6-0. We are going to move on to public comment. I apologize. The first name is Chris. I can't. Okay. Can you come up here, please, and state your name for the record? And you will have 3 minutes.
My name is Chris Lucero,
Okay?
and I live at 1703 Dewey Lane. My house burned down like 2 years ago. Been living there for 18 years now. We've been renovating it ourselves. We cleaned up all the debris, and the code inspector came by saying that he was going to evacuate us from our house because we had debris in the front. And I'm just concerned about it because my family is there. And we've been fixing it on our own as a unity, as a family, to build it. It's not hazardous to the people or public or the safety of our neighbors. And we've just been getting harassed by him. And he wants to just knock our house down and rebuild another one. And we don't see no need for the city to waste their money on that. We reinvested our own money into our own house, and we just wanted to finish it. And wondering what we could do to sustain our home and stay in our home.
Madam Mayor, I apologize. This is actually an item under new business, so he should speak under that item.
Oh,
This would be number 8.
Item 8.
number 8, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not see that. I apologize. Do you, yeah, I was going to say, do you want to wait until we get to that item and
Oh,
then?
no problem. That'll be okay.
Okay, all right, sorry about that, I didn't see that, I apologize. Okay, is this the same? Is it Drew Smith? Okay, and is this regarding a particular item or? Same item? Okay, do you mind if we just wait until we get to that item? Okay, all right, perfect, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the city manager's report.
Hi, Mayor. I have one item, but I'm going to defer to Chief Kunihiro for it.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner, City Manager. This evening, we're going to take this time to recognize Chief Denton in his retirement, and we're going to do his last call. So if all the PD officers would stand.
Jason.
I want to take a moment to thank everyone who supported me. I've had a great career with the city for 23 years. It's been a pleasure, and this 5-9 is out of service.
Please copy. All units, 10-3 DS, the last call. 3 units, 5-9. Break. All units, this is the last call for Chief Richard Denton. Chief Denton began his career at the Alamogordo Police Department on July 24th of 2000. He has faithfully served the citizens of Alamogordo as a patrol officer, field use training officer, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and chief of police over the last 23 years. Break. The citizens of Alamogordo and members of the Alamogordo Police Department appreciate your dedication and years of service. At this time of 1836 hours on July 11th, 2023, this is your last call, sir. We wish you well in your retirement and all future endeavors. You will be missed. We have to watch from here. PD shows you 10-7 and 42G. Enjoy your retirement.
I have one more thing because I don't want to charge him with theft. He said he was going to take it anyways, so here's
There
his
you
plaque.
We're going to move on to remarks and inquiries by the city commission, and I'm going to go ahead and start and just tell you, I did have the opportunity to attend your retirement. I was a little bit on the spot then, by somebody, anyway. But I do want to tell you, Chief, that I have really appreciated working with you. I've learned a lot, and I am really proud of the work that you've done. For those of you who don't know by now, Peace Up has been a thing for a really long time. I've been on the commission since 2016, and that's all I've heard about. And it wasn't until Chief Denton took the lead for the city, and of course Sheriff Black for the county, that we were able to get that done. And that is huge. It's been a long time coming, and it is because of his selflessness and his putting the needs of the city before, and our community before himself, that we were able to do that. And then also just, learning and trying to understand what it is that we can do to increase our, of course, well, retention, of course, but also increase our force and get those numbers back up where they need to be. And I know that you've worked tirelessly for that. And I just appreciate how easy you've made it, certainly since I've been here, but just in general. And I was laughing the other day because I noticed, I think it was July of 2000 was when you started. I was like, July of 2000. I said, oh, I had a baby in July of 2000. That's what happened that year. And now you're retiring, and yeah, she's a mother. So boy, that's a long time when you put that in perspective like that. So thank you for all you've done, and thank you for putting your community first. It is certainly much appreciated from this commissioner. And then I just have a couple of other things. I was able to attend the contract signing for the hospital. And I'm super excited about what's to come with that. I think it's going to be good for our community. And then I also had an opportunity to attend the Base Planning Commission meeting. That was very, very enlightening. I think they travel and they do it in different areas. And so this time was in our area, and got an opportunity to ask some questions. That was pretty enlightening. And then, of course, Chief Denton's retirement, I mentioned that. There was a caregiver session also that was pretty helpful and pretty enlightening, I think, and well attended by a lot of our elected officials. And so, and I think that was before our last meeting, but I can't remember. And then, of course, we had our parade, our 4th of July parade, and I see Michelle here. Thank you for your work on that. It was hot, but it was a lot of fun. And so that's what I've been up to. And I'm sure there's more, but those are some highlights. So does anybody else have anything?
I do. And this is the final call for the cleanup in our area. It's going to be held on this Saturday, the 15th, at 5th and Florida. You can dump all your junk in a dumpster that the city is going to provide for us. And we also are going to have a shred company out on the opposite side of the street to take all your documents if you need to have them shredded. So we invite you to come out, and if you'd like to volunteer, just be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. The shredding will start at 10 o'clock and end at 12, and we will all be gone by 12 o'clock on Saturday, so we can beat the heat. Thank you.
Just for staff, I had a call today about over on Rut Circle, the canopy over the playground. Could we have Parks look at that? They said there was multiple holes in it. I don't know how old that one is, but if you could have them look into it for me.
Does anybody else have anything? I did want to mention one more thing. I don't know if commissioners have had a chance to read them, but our city manager is putting out a report every week now. It's a very organized report. I'm super impressed with it. It even has a table of contents. I'm like, ooh, okay. You can tell she's a college student. Anyway, so thank you for that, and I'm sure that it's helpful for all of us to be able to find out what is going on each week. So thank you for taking the time to do that every week. We appreciate that, and maybe that'll eliminate some city manager report at our meetings now that we're kept up to speed. So thank you for that. Nothing else? Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. I know that we are pulling item 3 off the consent agenda, and that will be brought back at a later date. And then, does anybody else have anything?
We'll pull 4.
Okay. Commissioner Reardon would like to pull item 4. Anybody else? No. Okay. All righty, and the 2 that were pulled were roll call votes, excuse me. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item 3 and 4. Do I have a motion?
So
So moved. I'll second it.
Okay, a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Wright and a second from Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And motion carries 6-0. We'll move on to the items pulled from consent agenda. Item 4, Commissioner Reardon?
Oh, you're not doing item 3 first, or we're just
No,
pulling
that's going to
it?
come back at a later date.
Okay, we're pulling it completely?
Pulling it completely.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to, on this, I had a couple more questions as far as staff goes, but have we looked at all, dang, that thing's loud today. Have we looked at all the different funding sources other than passing a gross receipts tax? Have we looked at all the options that we could do?
Yes, we have. So we've looked at the grants funds, we've looked through, of course, the majority is general fund. If you recall, at the end of next fiscal year, we're expected 1.2 million in the general fund. So we have looked tirelessly for at least 2 years that I've been working with them on this. So yeah, we have looked at multiple sources. We have not brought this forward just lightheartedly.
Okay. I just was, talking with some people about it, and if we were to, I'm just going to throw this out there, re-implement the lodger's tax, would that free up about $1 million a year that we're pulling out of Fund 11, correct?
So are you saying
In
because
the-
we're funding the lodger's tax?
Yes, because
Or,
we're
okay.
funding the Civic Center, because we did away with the lodger's tax, so we're funding the Civic Center out of Fund 11, and we're funding the promotions and all of that, correct?
That is correct, but
out
it's
of
not,
general
it's
fund.
nowhere close. If I remember correctly, the Civic Center is about 200,000, and that includes all of the events, all the staff, all of everything that goes along with the maintenance. That's 200 and a little over 200,000. And advertising, right now, we're using all of the lodger's tax still, but we only have about 25 to 50,000 depending. We're doing a lot of digital, so it's not that much money
It's
that.
not expensive. Okay. I was just, putting that out there if we were to look at that. And then, if I'm reading the ordinance correctly, let me get back to that page. This isn't being dedicated specifically to law enforcement, it's just going into the general fund, is that correct?
It's going into the general fund with the dedication to law enforcement, so we can use the excess for PSAP.
Okay. It says the dedication is to general fund and operational expenses.
Because they're funded through Fund 11. They're funded from the general fund.
Okay. So in the future, depending on how things work for future commissions, then this money can be utilized for other things if the need arises.
If the need arises,
Yes.
probably, but I don't see that. Salaries are only going to go up, and hopefully our force is going to go up, so I don't.
That's where my concern is that it's a reoccurring expense. It's over and over and over again. 9 months ago, we increased our payroll by $1.5 million. And now we're increasing it by almost another $1 million. So, and then in your numbers that you all calculated, the 850, that's here, the 846, 850, does that include overtime? Does that include para? Does that
That
include?
is straight salaries and benefits.
Okay, so
It includes para.
it
It
includes
does
the
not
para
include
and-
overtime.
And health insurance?
At-
Okay.
And it's budgeted at full health insurance, so the empty positions, we budget them at, if they're
Yes.
going to take all of it, so yeah, it's.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to clarify a few things
Yeah,
on that
sure.
first, so.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
Anybody else have any questions? No? Okay. Do I have a motion to, let's consider an act upon the adoption of final publication of ordinance 1679. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's a motion from Commissioner McDonald. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Melton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Carl Melton,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Dusty Wright,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Congratulations.
He's doing what he doesn't allow anybody else to do, and
Oh, Lord, that one step. Wait. Snooze. computer decided it wanted to update. I'm like, oh, how do I stop this? This could have been ugly. Okay. We are going to move on to new business. Item 8, consider and act upon resolution 2023-25, declaring 1703 Dewey Lane to be so ruined, damaged, and dilapidated that is a menace to the public comfort, health, peace, or safety, and ordering its abatement. And Josh Sides, oh, I look up and there you are. Okay, Code Enforcement Manager has some information on that. And I apologize for earlier, I did not realize that they were speaking on that item, so.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, City Manager. My name is Josh Sides. I am the Code Enforcement Manager for the City of Alamogordo. What I bring forth to you is a resolution to consider and act upon declaring this residence, which is habited, to be an unfit structure and order its immediate abatement. This residence has actually there's been a few cases on this for code enforcement. This residence is located on Dewey, just east of Hubbard Lane. There's an overall picture of the front. So laws and codes on this, as far as dedicating something as dilapidated, there are 3 different laws and or codes, state statute, city ordinance, and international property maintenance code, that dictate certain timelines, especially IPMC, International Property Maintenance Code, dictates if it's boarded up, you have 1 year to get it removed, or if it is not, 2 years to get it removed. The timeline on Dewey on 5/11, I was made aware of this potentially dilapidated structure on 5/15. I emailed certified an international property, I mailed a certified International Property Maintenance Code letter to the property owners at the address listed on the county assessor's website. On 6/2, we received that letter back saying return to sender. On 6/5, that letter was posted on a conspicuous place, which was the door of the residence per International Property Maintenance Code. On 6/7, I had Facility Maintenance Manager Paul Bennett do his drive around to the property just to do kind of an inspection from his point of view to see if it lined up with my point of view on this property. On the 15th of June, District Court Judge Jensen approved an administrative search warrant on this residence, and on the 21st of June, I executed that search warrant on the residence. Some of the International Property Maintenance Code violations, this is just a short summary of these codes. They're much longer, but these are just the highlight of it. Some of these that I've seen from public right-of-ways, alleyway, street, sidewalk, sanitation, exterior to property and premises shall be clean, safe, and sanitary condition. Generally, the exterior of the property should be in good repair, structurally sound, and sanitary. Unsafe conditions, roof or components shall not have defects that emit rain or be structurally sound. Protective treatment, which is paint or protective treatment on the exterior. And then premises identification, approved address numbers placed in a position to be plainly legible from the street were just the main ones that I saw on this as I came. There were others as I saw. Structural members maintain free from deterioration and support loads. Exterior walls free from holes, breaks, and loose materials. Roofs and drainage, which is kind of similar to one of the other codes, shall be sound, tight, not have any defects that emit rain, and shall not emit dampness or deterioration to the interior. Windows, skylights, and door frames are kept in good sound condition, good repair, and weather tight, and unsafe conditions. Components or systems to be beyond its limited state or have fire damage beyond charring shall be deemed unsafe. This structure actually went through a structure fire back in 2020. And there are several areas within this property within the structure that have charring beyond just a reasonable amount. You can tell it was a structure fire inside this residence that heavily damaged it. There was plumbing problems. There is window and skylight problems where windows are missing and boarded up. There was extension cords being ran from one outlet feeding several different things that were warm to the touch, overloading that extension cord in that. The roof of the property, the original roof, it was a snow home, so it was a flat roof. Another roof was built on top of that, a pitched roof. That is, the back half is completely gone. So all you have is this snow home portion of the flat roof portion of it. seeing the elements. Within this property, there are two different areas where the roofing was held up by some sort of like jack. And there was actually one area where the roofing portion that was held up by a jack had a chair or couch sitting on top of that portion of the roofing where people were going in and out, the inhabitants were going in and out of that place underneath that, which is very unsafe. There was exposed wiring throughout the residence. They were in boxes, but they were exposed. Not that there is any power to that residence that we can see. There is power, but we're not sure where it's coming from because there is no meter. So this property is one that, though inhabited, needs to be declared unsafe because it is unsafe for people inside of it. I will stand for any questions you have.
I think we probably want to hear from the homeowners. We have two people signed up for this. Is it Lucero? Yeah, Mr. Lucero, if you'd like to come up again, and I apologize for earlier, but if you can state your name for the record, you will have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Christopher Michael Lucero. I'm Rudy's son. Rudy Ramos is here with me. I agree with everything what the code inspector says. I agree with him. That's unsafe and everything. But I graduated from the National Center of Education and Research of Electrical Engineering. The jack say he's talking about is just so we could reinstall steel beams instead of wood beams, half-inch steel, 4 square. We're installing them, so at the time, there's only me, my father-in-law, my brother, 3 men, and my wife there. There's no children, we're nobody else there. And we have a loft, we built a loft, as you said, the fire started, that was 2 years ago, we cleaned all the debris out. Now, it's boarded up, there's windows there, but we just don't want people to be looking in, you know, on our construction and inside. But right now, it's under construction, and we just want a little bit more time so we could invite the code inspector over so he could take a look at it. Anytime he likes, he could come by and see our work, you know. Is if we ran out of funds and money, so we just left it where it was. We tried using solar panels and a generator. I have a generator hooked up to it, and then solar panel, batteries. And
So you're living in it?
Yeah, we're living there. We had nowhere else to go, so we stood there after the fire and we started doing the cleanup work. We hauled like 5 or 6 truckloads to the garbage, and every board that was charted or even burned, we had smoked on it, we replaced it with the new one. Took one out, replaced the new one by one. And then that's how we've been doing it, you know.
And is your father or father-in-law that
Right.
owns it?
Yeah, my father-in-law is here with me. Really.
Did he have insurance?
No, we had no insurance at the time.
No insurance, okay.
No. So it's been coming out of our savings and our financials. And so it's been taking a little minute, but we're getting it done as rapidly as we can, you know. Every day we're working on it.
Okay. I do have one more person signed up, I believe, for this. Is that correct? And is it Drew? Drew Smith? Okay, if you'd like to come up. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Drew Smith. I'm actually the neighbor that lives at 1705. I don't mean any misfortune or anything upon the family that lives there, but it is a safety concern. They can't contain their dogs within their own yard. I've been chased by it. I've asked them to contain them. I've even built a raised up fence, an extra 3 feet. That cost me an extra $3,500 when I bought the house. That way I can make sure that my animals are going to be safe and my family. I've been having to call animal control on their animals for them being let loose several times. The animals have been chained up to what seems to be the power lines. There is no roof from what I had seen. It looks like this house could go up in a tinderbox any moment. And when I got my house appraised, it did bring down my value of my house, at least by $30,000. So I work hard, and I busted my butt to get to where I'm at. And the city needs to take a stronger approach at making sure that our town looks presentable and desirable, especially if we want new growth and economy in this town. With houses like this, it's not going to happen, especially when they're being pushed to actually make solution at the last minute. All that work that he's explaining has just been done after the inspection of the search warrant was done. It's been like that for 2 years. I'm the only neighbor that will come forward because they're afraid of retaliation, but someone needs to speak up. That's all.
Thank you. I can't let you respond, actually, right? Well, I guess, I don't know, can I? Yeah, I can, because this is an action item. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
This gentleman here, he hasn't introduced himself to us. We've been there 18 years. He just moved in like about 3 or 4 months ago. And he's really claiming the whole neighborhood, you know. That's fine, but we've been there 18 years, and we get along with all the neighbors. I don't know, his dogs went into our house. He has 3 dogs. They ran into our house and attacked us, and they tried to attack my dog, and my dog bit his dog. I went knocking on his door to tell him to get a hold of his dogs, and they wouldn't respond to me. They're inside my house. My
I
front
think
door
this
was
is out of the
open,
scope of that item.
and-
What's that?
This is out of the scope of the item that's to be.
Okay, you know, and my house is secure.
Okay, so
and-
let me ask you this. I have a couple questions
Okay.
for you, okay?
That's fine.
First of all, I do not believe that it's safe for you to live in there. Adults, kids, it doesn't matter. What I'm looking at, there's no way. There's no way. It's not healthy, it's not safe. I do not agree that you should be allowed to continue living in this house. I just don't. And you know, one of my missions is to get the city cleaned up and get this stuff taken care of. And I do agree that it's not fair to the neighbors to have to look at that. I'm looking at this trash. How long has it been like that? Seems to be a lot of stuff in the yard. How long has it been that way?
Well, it's cleaned up. It's been like that since we got the debris out, and then we bagged it all up because first we were taking it over there without garbage bags. So we bought all those garbage bags and we bagged it all up, and we contained everything, that we separated everything. We put the ashes, wood, and
Okay.
containers.
So these pictures were taken before that, Josh? And is it cleaned up now?
And if you look at his pictures, he tells you himself there, like you see that, and he'll take another picture later on where you don't see none of that anymore. If you look at the fence and the wall, we've been cleaning it up as we're going along.
Okay, did you
know?
start cleaning it up after you were
No,
cited?
we've been cleaning up since the day with the fire. That's how long it's been, you know, imagine the whole house burned.
I'm looking at these pictures and I'm like, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know.
So if you've been cleaning it up since the day of the fire, you must have really had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and it was just only us two, could really, my father-in-law can't help us really. It's just me and my brother.
Okay,
When it
and
was
how
doing
about this roof? Can you actually see from the inside to the outside? You can't, okay. Okay,
Well, the room that was on fire, that we closed that area off. We put 2 double doors, and then we have another door separating our house from that room that was on fire.
okay, and you don't have electricity hooked up right now?
No, we have a generator. When we get home, we turn it on and it charges up our battery so the neighbors don't have to hear the noise. And then I put it on I have a converter. It charges up.
Like a gas generator?
No, it's a little converter that only gives us 120 volts of power.
Okay, I got
But
it.
not 220, so we cook off a stovetop or propane. And then we just use a little bit of a amount like for TV and charge our phone or whatever, for 120 outlet, but we don't have 220. And we're just asking for a little bit more time to clean it up more my father-in-law is getting he's getting help from the VA, so it might help us start rebuilding it.
And he did not have insurance when this fire started?
No, he didn't have insurance.
So he didn't collect any money from insurance?
No, he's been coming out of his own pocket, his own retirement. You know, he regrets it today. You know, every time we're out there, he feels really bad for us cleaning it. And I understand too, but yeah, we should have had insurance. But he paid for all the materials, and we put a lot of money into it and worked real hard. We just need a little bit more time to you know, clean it up and get it done.
Can you speak to the maintenance portion of it? I don't know if I can.
And
But
that's
Yeah.
my only concern.
I'm sorry, if you want to come back up for just a minute. You have to stick to the subject, though.
My only concern with maintenance is the maintenance that is being done, it's being done by unprofessionals. I mean, I've had debris come into my yard while I'm planting my trees and stuff and hit me in the back with nails that are 2 inches. Fortunately, they were facing the other way. So the maintenance that they're claiming, it's not professionally sound. It's not going to be able to withhold an inspection whatsoever. It's just boards, nails, that's it. So, I mean, if it is going to be done, it should be done professionally. That way there is no risk of fire, leaks, flooding, sinkholes. You know, that's my main concern. And the fact that it's bringing down the property value for everyone in the neighborhood.
I got a couple of questions.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Burden?
This will probably be more for the property owner or for Josh.
I have you brought up the trash, Madam Mayor. I can tell you that there is an ongoing municipal court case on this property regarding that trash in the backyard.
Okay, thank you.
Either of them can answer my questions probably, but, you know, this being an existing snow home with a pitched roof conversion on it, did it burn through both roofs?
It's because it's been so many years and there has been some work done, I'm unsure whether the fire actually burned through both roofs or not within the structure. And now there are portions of the residence, like he spoke to, where you can walk out a door and see skylight, see the sky.
You can see from inside the house.
But that, I don't know where it was because I wasn't there in 2020. I was at the Civic Center in 2020, so I can't speak intelligently to whether you could or couldn't. Right now, as it was a few weeks ago, you couldn't from kitchen, dining room, living room areas.
So part of it was inhabitable, part of it wasn't?
Living room, kitchen.
Somewhat inhabitable?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, this is probably more for this gentleman, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want, but is the house paid off?
Yes, it is.
It's paid in clear? Okay, all right. So I was kind of wondering, so, you know how I feel on these when we have the homeowner and property owner here. I believe giving them more time. The fact that it's paid off, he might be able to go to a bank, borrow money against the property to at least get it a roof over it. He may not have the interior done, but he can get electrical service, a heating and cooling system, and a roof on it.
So is there plumbing?
Yes, the plumbing's all brand new. We took pictures of it, but we didn't know we had court just next week on Tuesday. So my wife's she got her phone, and we got the Kills paint. We did everything that the subcontractor had told us to, guiding us to the house to how to fix it. And then we're gonna take pictures of all the roof and all the whole house, detailed by wall, before we even cover it up. Like the 2x4s, we're using 4x4s, and we're reinforcing it really nice. It's just right now, that's just the core of it that you're looking at. But when we start putting like the makeup on it and dressing it really nice, it's gonna start looking way much better. But yeah, like my father was trying to get some VA loan, and so we could finish it up. But just right now, we ran out of money, and it's been bad right now.
I just don't see this as inhabitable.
Technically, by CID standards, it's not, but it could very well be very, very quickly.
I don't believe the health department would consider it.
They wouldn't, I don't know if they would have any say in it, but it would be more construction industries that would have the say one way or the other. But I've fixed structures like this before that have burnt. If they are willing and able to get a loan against the property, if the property is paid off, they can go in and get this at least structurally sound, get a roof back over it, get an electrical system, a heating system, heating, cooling, and a kitchen.
How do you get a loan on this?
You just go in there, I mean, they could put a mortgage on that house, and it would be, it'd be just like building a home, it'd be an interim. They go in, borrow the money, they get the project done, they more than likely would have to have a contractor come in and get the roof portion of it probably fixed, and, but I, for one, can't support kicking him out of his house. You know, it sounds like this is the only place you guys have to live, correct?
If we had somewhere else to go, we would have left. This is only family, we're immediate family, and we stick together. And we've been citizens of Amargosa since I was born, since I was little. And my father-in-law, he purchased the house 18 years ago in 2005, and we all moved in with him. And then because of his illnesses, we started cleaning up the house. You know, I wish I could show you. I
So
wish I would have brought
if
you
I
some more
drive by
pictures.
tomorrow, that trash is going to be gone?
Guarantee it.
Okay.
Front yard and backyard. And can I get like I know this is not like a harassment kind of thing. Maybe I need to get something, but I love my neighbors, you know, I love my neighbors, you know, and I try to say hi to him, but he.
Okay,
them two guys-
wait.
them two-
That's another story for another
Yeah, I
day.
know, okay, thank you,
Okay.
but. maybe
Mayor.
I'll talk to you later.
Yes, Commissioner
I'm
Milton.
generally in favor of giving leeway to owners, but the fire happened in 2020.
3 years ago,
That's
yeah.
3 years ago.
Right.
I want to give the owners the benefit of the doubt, but we also have to keep in mind, with generators in there, with subpar, you know, electrical setup, if a fire happens and spreads, that's a lawsuit on us, because we didn't handle it when we came.
It's not.
Disagree. I'm very concerned about, you know, I understand, obviously, I deal with these situations basically on a daily basis. It's not like I don't understand. I understand being displaced, I understand not having, I understand low income, I understand all of that. My issue is, I feel like until we started putting pressure on you, you didn't understand the urgency. And that I have an issue with, because we should not, you know, we have to consider everybody that lives around them too. That's not fair. I get what you're saying, and I am a person of great compassion, but I have to think about all the neighbors too. That's not fair. Would I want to live next door to that? No, I wouldn't.
I agree with you, but.
And it doesn't matter what area of town it's in, fair is fair. You know, and I'm going to put this in a little bit of perspective. Don't take this wrong, but if this happened in Commissioner or Mayor Pro Tem Wright's district at the golf course, would we be having this discussion?
No, because those houses would have already been rebuilt.
Maybe, maybe not. That's not the point. The point is, set that aside. Would we be having this discussion? We would not be having this discussion. We would say, I mean, somebody would have had a fit by now. Somebody would have thrown a fit, right? That house would have been fixed. And I just think it's unfair that because it's on Dewey Lane or because it's in a different part of town, that we're viewing it differently. The neighbors around deserve the same respect as anybody that lives in any area of town, and that's where my issue is. I understand.
We went to all the funerals of our neighbors. Ask him, does he know a neighbor across the street, Becky, Jesse?
No, I get it, but you yourself said he's been there 4 months. Of course he doesn't know them. I can't have a back and forth with you right now. I can't.
I personally feel we ought to do like we did with that property on White Sands Boulevard across from AutoZone down there. And the gentleman's here, he's saying that they're trying to do it. Let's give them 3 months, 6 months. And if they don't have something substantially done, then we take action at that point. So
The only
that's-
concern I have with that is a realistic timeline. It's been sitting like this for 3 years.
You do have
with
to
every
remember, though,
opportunity of,
they went through COVID, and they may not had financial means to do that. You know, I mean, in the defense of a house out in your district, more than likely, they still would have been financed because the values of them are higher.
Yep.
So they would have been forced to have house
Insurance.
insurance on it.
But
So it
that's
would have
not
been
really my
replaced.
point. My point is, if it were that area of town, we would not be even discussing this. Even if it were to be fixed, we wouldn't be discussing this. And we can't view it differently because it's not at the golf course or over in the, off of North Scenic. We can, and this is where my frustration comes in. I do understand, but I also understand that the neighbors around them have to look at this every single day. You know, we could give them 90 days. God, please convince me that you're going to see significant progress
honestly,
in 90 days.
I say we do 90 days, we go over and do an inspection, and if there's not significant progress, then we can take action. If there is, we give them up to 6 months. Because finding a contractor right now to come in and do this, and then the process to go get a loan against the property so that they can get the funding to do it, it may take them a little while, so. But
I get it.
I'm just saying.
But
you
you've
know,
had 3 years to get a loan
Yeah.
to get this done.
yeah, you know.
And now all of a sudden, there's this sense of urgency because it's been put on our radar. That's not fair.
Yeah, my concern would be is that it literally is a hazard, not only for you all living there, but for the neighbors as well. If he's running a generator and wiring in that place is, who knows what condition it's in. If that thing goes up and burns another house down and somebody dies as a result of that, I mean, that's pretty substantial. My opinion is you won't get a loan from a bank on the property, unfortunately. You'll have to go to somebody that's a hard money lender to get anything done, to have them, your house, it has no value to a bank in its current state. Right, then,
It's not gonna burn nothing down, because I am certified electrician, and I understand what you're saying. I'm concerned about my neighbors. And I'm seeing it as fast as I can, and you know, I got the pressure from him, looking at the fence every 5 minutes, and I'm still doing it legal light.
what is the likelihood, barring any type of financing from an outside source, that you guys could come up with the funds to do the work, to rebuild the roof, put the electrical back into a safe and working condition?
I need you to come up to the mic, sir.
Well, he's gonna get an AV loan, but I also call the IBEW, Electrical Brother Electrical Workers. I'm pulling out of my stocks. I'm gonna pull out some stocks that had a five-year fixed term and a 7-year fixed term. I'm closing those stocks out because of COVID, and I might be getting disability from it. And then when I get that money, it should fix the whole house. And I've been waiting for that, for him to the COVID guy, the AV was supposed to help him out, but I guess something didn't come through. But so we thought we could do it ourselves. And, but everything there is safe, and it's guaranteed it's not gonna start no fires, sir.
Is there, I mean, I don't know if Josh has been in there to inspect the electrical, and without having a licensed electrician in there, who knows? Is there an ability for you guys to find temporary housing, rent someplace in the interim to where you can?
We tried that. It was really expensive, and then we started getting to motel rooms, and it was too crowded, and it was way too expensive to live there. And then if we do that, we don't even have money to purchase any materials for the house. You know, because we end up no gas, no food, and it becomes even worse, like a pandemic for us. We haven't went out and asked for any help for the city or these programs that you guys have out there. We're just trying to do it on our own, you know. Maybe that was the wrong thing for us to do. We should have probably went to, you know, like everybody else does, you know, and my father-in-law is real prideful. He don't like asking for handouts, you know. He wants to do it. He knows he was wrong for not having insurance. He's paying it out of his own retirement, his own money. He's paying cash for all this material we've been getting, and I have too, you know. And it's just, we just need a little bit more time.
So are you working? Are you employed?
Right now I'm yes, I am. I'm working for the IBEW, Electrical Brotherhood Electrical Workers, Local 234.
Okay.
And right now, we're gonna start a project, but I can't go to work because I caught kind of cold. I felt like I was really sick. I was sick but I got bronchitis. I was sick for like about 4 months during that time, so I haven't been back to work since then, you know. I've been collecting unemployment and using my unemployment money for fixing the house.
Okay. And did you say, who did you say lived in the house?
Just me, my brother, and my father-in-law, and my wife.
You, your brother, your father-in-law, and your wife?
Yes.
Okay.
And those rooms in the back, they have smoke detectors, and they got carbon dioxide testers up on the ceiling. They're electrically wired and battery backup, you know. So,
Okay. So there's 4 of you living in the house?
yes.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can we do that happy median where you pass the resolution, come back in 3 months, he can show what was done, and if commission is satisfied, it will delay the
Yes.
I think
demolition
that's what we
again?
did with the last one, right?
No, that's
No,
not
we
what we
didn't
did,
do
that's
that.
what, no,
I
but
I
we
agree with staff on that. And also would like to add a stipulation that within the next 2 weeks, you have all the debris outside that place cleaned up.
100%. It'll be done this evening.
I don't know, how does
tomorrow
everybody
morning.
feel about
But
it?
it's picked up like a lot already yesterday and today.
Okay, hold on just a second. Hold on. Okay.
I could support that. What I'm worried about is a precedent we're setting where someone who has had damage existing for 3 years can come in and expect the same results. Usually when these circumstances arise, it's recent damage or a year. There's a big difference in my mind between a year and 3 years. So, I mean, I'll support the 90-day plan. I just am hesitant about what is that going to do to the commission in the future.
It's just, we're the government, we're not here to steal people's property or tear people's property down.
Oh, I agree.
And that's where I feel where we're at. When they don't show up and come to us and say, hey, this is what's going on, or if they just flat out say, here, sign it over, that's one thing. But
Okay, but we're infringing on other people's property rights.
we are to an
We
extent.
are. We
No,
are
we
infringing on
technically-
other people's property rights. Everybody has a right to live healthy and clean
Yes.
and free of concern.
That's
There
why-
could be kids in that neighborhood, I don't even know, but there could be kids in that neighborhood. It could be pretty dangerous, and I hear what you're saying. My issue is you've had 4 adults in that house, 4 grown adults in that house since 2020. And yet, you're telling me that you know, and your finances are none of my business. But what is our business is, do we take you at your word? Or don't we, when we're looking at this and going, okay, so since 2020, you've had this problem, you've had 4 adults in the house, and you're telling me, well, we haven't had the money. Well, that,
2 of them are really, they really can't do anything. You know, he's 75 years old, and he could hurt himself. And he tries all the time.
I get it, but he has income.
He tries it all the time to do
Right.
it, and I have to tell him, calm
Right.
down.
But he has income, right?
I'm the one, actually, the only one out there.
Right.
I could ask my neighbors, they'll tell you that they only see me out there doing the
I get
cleaning.
it.
The other one's going to school, he's there like partial the time, and my wife, she's like, she's on disability, and so is her father, and so it's like really, I'm the one really trying my hardest, and God, honest truth, ma'am, I'm doing the best that I can for our living and for our conditions of living, and for our neighbors.
Okay,
You know.
well,
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
So to answer or address Commissioner Melton, so the objective that we, as staff, were told from the beginning is it's to beautify and clean up Alamogordo. So if we declare it dilapidated and give him the 90 days, that's kind of the best of both worlds, because if we don't, the city has to clean it up. So I think that, I understand that it's been the 3 years. I just kind of, this way it gives us some teeth on 91 days. If there's nothing if nothing has been done and it doesn't satisfy the commission, then you can tell staff to go knock it down or put it on the list or to do whatever your direction would be. I don't think it's a precedent, Commissioner Melton, because our objective is to clean up Alamogordo, but we don't have the funds to clean up all of Alamogordo. So staff, my opinion personally is it would behoove us to pass it so we have some teeth on day 91.
okay, can you give me a date?
I can.
October 11th.
Is that
Yep.
the closest commission
I don't know
meeting?
when the commission meeting would be, but that's 90 days from today.
So,
Yeah, I
commission
meant
meeting.
But I also,
Sorry, I meant the
Yeah.
closest commission meeting.
I'd also like to, though, put the stipulation in there, whatever the motion may read, that you have 2 weeks to get all that debris out of that backyard.
Yes, sir.
To keep the neighbors happy.
So-
You get the yard cleans up.
Yes.
And then-
October 10th is the commission meeting. It's 89
Okay.
days.
So October 10th is 90 days, it's the 90-day mark for the next commission meeting. Day 91, if there's not significant progress, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to vote to tear it down. So
I'll vote you with you.
you
And I
get,
wanna-
you get
I'm saying
90
it- I'm
days.
saying it
For
on
me,
record.
listen, there's 6 of us here, they could feel it completely different.
Thank you, God.
I'm just
God
telling
bless
you,
guys.
okay, hold on,
God bless you.
we've
We
got to
s-
take a vote on
still
that,
gotta
but,
make a
God bless
motion
you.
in
Yeah.
a second,
Yeah,
so.
and I have one question.
yes.
If we do declare it dilapidated, can he live in there, the fort? Okay.
No.
So we need to make that clear then.
Okay, so did you understand that, sir? We're voting to give you time to clean it up, but you cannot live in it. So you're going to have to figure something out for the next 90 days.
Okay.
You can't, it's not safe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so you can't live in it, so you will have to figure something out. There are some, maybe you could rent a place or,
You live in our property? Like, we get a camper and live there in a camper?
no, it's against our ordinance.
We just live in our car inside the street somewhere?
Well, I'm sure you could find maybe
We can't, we try it.
a place to rent.
We don't like to live there, you know? That's how it's gonna be. You're pulling us into our vehicle, to our car. I'm sorry to tell you guys that, but we don't have no one here. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really hard. And you could tell how I'm dressed today. I lost everything. I normally would have came here representing myself properly like this gentleman here. But I had lost all my stuff is burned and gone. And that's the only place I know that it's a home. And that I could rest my neck without worrying about anything out there. So you're gonna probably see us at the gas station or sleeping in the car. You know, we've been doing this and we're like, it's gonna be bad for us. But we'll respect your decision regardless of what it is.
Hold on. Is it concerning the property?
Your call, Mayor.
Thanks. I guess so. Go ahead.
I am totally okay with how you guys are planning this out. I don't see, I mean, this is going against what I really want to say, but I do have a heart and I do understand that they are trying, you know. It has been them living in it for the time being. I want to see it get fixed. I don't want to see it tear down. I don't want to see them out on the street, but I also don't need to worry about my safety either. So, I mean, if you guys are willing, I mean, I'd be more than happy to help too if I can, when I can, but I don't think we should throw them out to the streets if they've been living in it.
I don't know that we have a choice. I don't know.
Once we declare it, they can't live
I
there.
mean, that is your call. I mean, this is not my intentions. My intentions is just to clean it up, you know.
With staff, if we don't declare tonight and we wait 90 days to declare it, do you have to go back with your warrants and all your start over? Or is
Not
90
necessarily. As long as I'm given consent by the property owner to go inside, then no, I won't. If I don't, then yes, I would need a warrant.
Okay. Do we really need to, I guess we kind of do need to go back inside to see what they've done work-wise, so, okay. I don't know. It's-
But the other thing of
I don't
that
know how
is,
I feel on it, guys, so.
the other side of that is I've already done a search warrant once. So
Judge to do it again.
getting a judge to do it again is not impossible, but it is, they're going to ask a ton more questions of why we're doing it again.
Or if the property owner gives us permission.
Come in anything you want, anytime. You got the keys to the door. You know? There's no problem.
The issue I see here, guys, this house is very easily fixed. Yes, it's burnt, but I remember one, I was probably 18 years old, and it was right behind Dr. Clump's old office that burnt, very similar to this. And we did the exact same fix. The roof was burnt, it was smoke, on the inside. We fixed numerous of these like this. This one's very easily fixed, so. That's where my dilemma is here, And if you go in, we knock it down, it's gonna be a vacant lot for the rest of our lives. Nobody's ever gonna go in and rebuild a house on this property.
How much is a roof gonna cost? About 12,000?
I don't know. Right off this.
Talking quite a bit. I have a question for the city attorney. If we pass on, we decide to give them 30 days without ruling it dilapidated, and there's a family of 4 living in that house, and someone gets injured, while they're doing the repairs that we told them to do, is there any liability for the city?
Given the fact that we knew about it and we knew that it was potentially uninhabitable, they could, and a court could rule that we had some liability into there, yes.
That's my concern.
Yeah, that's my concern too. I think that, well, I don't know what to think.
I don't either. I don't want to kick these people out of where they have to live, but I want to give them time.
Well, I don't want to kick them out either, but you
the other
you
side of
can't
it,
live like
yeah.
this either. I mean, and unfortunately, it has been
Honestly,
3 years.
the liability, I mean, we know about it, but it's not our structure, it's not our property. I don't understand how we would be liable in the event something happened.
Well, we did get a judge to sign off on an administrative warrant, so
We did, but
that implies that
if
we
if
thought there was
they,
something wrong
if
with
they're
the
staying
house.
in there, that's on their own free will. Or if somebody goes in, breaks in and gets in the home and gets hurt, they illegally went in. I don't see how that would fall on us as the city.
Mayor, can we push it till the next meeting to see if any is significant that wouldn't cause any issues with declaring it
Find out if
dilapidated?
we would have any liability, is that what you're saying?
And, no, I'm just saying, give them 2 weeks to see if they can do anything in 2 weeks. Just kind of push it down, so we're not tabling the item indefinitely. We're not doing the 90 days. We wouldn't have to go back out
Okay,
for a
so
circular.
what if we give 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks, you have to come back with a written plan and how you're going to execute the plan, and prove to us that, because it's not enough just to say, this is what I want to do,
Yes.
right? You have to demonstrate that, and I agree with Commissioner Paul, I don't think your property has value, and I do not believe you're going to get a conventional loan from a bank. I just don't believe it. I mean, and if you do, I don't think you're going to get enough to do anything of significance with it.
I think a bank would loan on that. If they had a contractor that went in and gave them a bid, and they took that bid to the bank, and the bank said, okay, if it's a free and clear, once it's finished, the bank would finish it and take it from them if they didn't get it finished.
The bank's not in the business of owning real estate, though.
That's true.
My personal opinion is if I would go with 2 weeks,
Yes.
let them come back. You guys can approach anybody and everybody you can to find financing to complete this project.
I'll go along with
If you can at that time, then we will continue moving forward with the decision that we have to make. But I would look into your option too of selling the home as a backup plan, because at the end of the day, at least you would be able to have some money to go and make a new fresh start. I know it's hard to hear that and to have to go make a new home, but that to me is,
But just understand that when you come back in 2 weeks with your plan, it's not over. We're not done yet, because again, just to reiterate, it's not enough to say, I have a plan. We need to see you execute a plan. And so you can't come in and then that's going to be the end of it, because I will keep an eye on this. We have to be fair to everybody. We have to be fair to all our citizens. So you really need to really start thinking critically, and come up with a plan, and then figure out a way to execute the plan, because that's the only way I'm going to support it.
And in the next 2 weeks, like I say, the yard, the debris, the trash,
Yes.
I would like to see photos in 2 weeks of the yard to see that it is cleaned up. The exterior, the easy part that's cheap and easy to get rid of, so. But do we need a motion to table till next meeting?
I was just going to say, Mr. Lucero, for your trash, it's free.
Yeah. Isn't that next weekend?
It's this Saturday.
This coming Saturday? Okay.
Way to plug, Sharon. Good job. That was super impressive.
So yes, a motion to table to bring back to the
Okay.
next meeting.
So do I have a motion to table?
When's the next meeting?
The next commission meeting is
25th.
July 25th. So a motion to table until July 25th?
And do we need to add in the cleanup part of it, that he will have front and backyards cleaned up?
Yeah,
All the debris removed by the next meeting, or by the 25th?
yes.
Okay. I'll
And a
make that.
plan to,
And a plan How
a
he's.
plan
gonna
moving
move
forward.
forward. I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second that one.
okay. So I have a motion from Commissioner Reardon. Did you get that, Rachel?
Did you get it all?
Yeah. I'm trying, ma'am.
Okay. So it's a motion to come back at the next commission meeting with a plan moving forward and also the yard completely cleaned up
By the 25th.
by the next commission meeting on July 25th.
I
And-
think we need to specify the plan should entail financing, how,
Okay,
as part of moving forward. He doesn't
Okay.
have to secure it, but just have a plan.
okay,
Something along those lines.
okay. So do we need to say that? Do we all get what we're doing?
I think you should clarify. 'cause-
Okay, so let me try this again. Do I have a motion
Okay.
to table this for 2 weeks?
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we table this till July 25th, and that the homeowner will have front and backyard cleaned up,
Okay,
and then come forward at this next meeting, the 25th, with a plan of how he's going to repair the structure, or sell the structure, or what he's going to do.
okay.
That make sense to everybody?
Do we all understand that?
Make sense to you?
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
A second, so I have a motion from Commissioner Reardon, a second from Mayor Pro Tem Wright. All those in favor, aye?
It's a roll call.
Oh,
Isn't
no, is it a roll call?
Yes,
No,
it is.
because the resolution wasn't passed.
The resolution.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All those in favor, aye? Aye. All those opposed? And motion passes 6-0. Okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks? All right, I believe in you. You can do this. All right.
We got to haul that trash down to the dumpsters.
We did put in that motion.
We have to haul it down.
Down to where else? Where are they
I
gonna
don't know
place
if he heard any of it, but he
On the
can work
Fifth and
with.
Florida.
it? Is that?
You heard all that, right?
I got it.
Okay,
It's that big
perfect.
lot on the corner.
All righty.
It'll either be there or across the street.
We're going to
one of the
move on to item 9. Consider an act upon Resolution 2023-26 declaring 1109 Michigan Avenue to be so ruined, damaged, and dilapidated that it is a menace to the public comfort, health, peace, or safety, and ordering its abatement. And Josh Sides has some information on that.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, City Manager. This residence located at 1109 Michigan was one that came across to me as a dilapidated structure. This structure is fixed on the west side of Michigan, the 1100 block, kind of catty corner from First Baptist Church. The Star is where this residence is. It is a 3-story building with a basement. Again, going over the laws and codes, state statute, city ordinance, pretty much say the same thing. International Property Maintenance Code, again, states if it's boarded up, the property owner has a year to repair or demolish. If it is not boarded up, they have 2 years to repair or demolish if resolution is passed. Timeline on 1109 Michigan. On the 28th of April, I was made aware of this potentially dilapidated structure and conducted my investigation. On the 15th of May, I mailed a certified International Property Maintenance Code letter to the property owner. On the 2nd of June, that letter came back to code enforcement, returned to sender. On the 5th of June, the letter was posted on the front window just immediately adjacent to the front door of the property per IPMC, or International Property Maintenance Code. On the 7th of June, Paul Bennett, Facility Maintenance Manager, conducted his inspection of that and found there to be quite a lot of issues with that property, which we'll go into. On the 15th of June, I had District Court Judge Jessen grant me an administrative search warrant to search the premises. And on the 21st of June, I again executed this search warrant on this property. Some of the International Property Maintenance Code violations, exterior needs to be in good, repair structurally sound and sanitary. Again, protective treatment is another one, paint or protective treatment on the exterior. Structural members need to be maintained free of deterioration and support loads. Exterior walls need to be free of holes, breaks, or loose materials. The roof shall be sound, tight, and not have defects that emit rain, and shall not emit dampness or deterioration into the interior. Windows, skylights, and door frames kept in sound condition, good repair and weather tight, and unsafe conditions, components or systems to be beyond the limit state or have fire damage beyond charring, which shall be deemed unsafe. These are pictures of the exterior of the property from the sidewalk. This is my initial inspection pictures. You can see there is windows missing, there is gaps between windows, there's sides of walls missing, fire damage as well. Significant fire damage on that third story of this residence and windows missing. These are all pre-search warrant pictures. These are pictures taken at time of search warrant. When we executed the search warrant, tarps over the ceiling, what it looked like underneath the tarps, I do not know. This residence was in bad shape. There was dog excrement throughout the residence on all floors, Second floor was, there is one, two, three, 4 bedrooms on the second floor that were completely covered in dog excrement. The kitchen is full of junk and dog excrement as well.
Please tell me nobody's living in it.
Yes, this is a habitated building structure.
Somebody's living
Okay.
in this
Yes.
one as well?
Yes. This is a picture of the second story. As you can see, that is a bedroom. The bedroom, as soon as you go up the stairs, make a right, so the bedroom on your immediate left, which is pretty much gone. It's down to studs.
So
And-
somebody's living in it right now?
Yes.
Are they squatters or?
No, it's a property owner's brother, because the property owner lives in the mother-in-law suite, which has minimal issues.
It's on the same property, but in the back somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
So, as you can see, the condition of this bedroom. This is the bedroom to the right when you come up the stairs, where you can see all the dog excrement everywhere, and parts of walls missing. It's completely damaged up there. The picture on your left is of the third floor. That is the first bedroom on the right when you go up the stairs. Again, dog excrement, and this floor is covered in pigeon excrement throughout the entire third floor, everywhere, as you can see why. In the other picture, there is no roof on the third story of this residence. This is actually pictures of the mother-in-law suite. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot to it, but there is some major foundation problems. There's some major cracks under that linoleum flooring that have raised some concerns, and I would be willing to bet it's from the 2 large trees that are immediately adjacent to this mother-in-law suite. Other than that, I'll stand for questions.
How old is the person living in here?
Older.
Older?
Probably in his early 60s.
How long ago did this one burn? It burned, what, 5 or 6 years ago?
About the same time as the other one, yes. So
Okay.
this.
It was in 2020?
Yeah, I believe it was in October, and 1703 Dewey was in November.
November, okay.
So,
Is he disabled?
No.
Do you know?
not that he appeared to be. We made contact with him when we executed the search warrant, him and the property owner. And I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I can tell you from personal experience that this house was built in 1899. My aunt and uncle were the property owners of this house while I was growing up, so this is kind of a bittersweet property to bring before you.
That's the only part I hate about seeing, is that it is the history, but
Yep.
like I say, do we know if it was insured as well when it burnt?
From my understanding, the property owner now wasn't the property owner when it even burnt. It's gone through 2 other property owners that I can tell.
Changed hands being burnt like that?
Yep.
So the city went and looked at this about a year ago, or it was right around the hotel when the hotel burned, and it's only gotten worse. We didn't bring it to commission because that's about the same time the hotel burned, and we kind of tied up our funds there, but it's gotten a lot worse. And it was a different owner than
And the
what's
property
currently.
owner is not here tonight?
No, I invited him. When I make contact with property owners, when I'm doing search warrants, I invite them. This is the time I'm going in front of commission, this is when it is, this is where it is, and you can be there. And property owner, Mr. Reynoso, said he'd be here, but he's not here.
So he said he would be here, but he's not.
With our abatement budget, we just rolled over, correct? So we're back in a new budget?
Yes, sir.
We expended everything we had on the last one,
Yes, sir. On the hotel.
but we still have what we budgeted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This house would probably, well, it probably might have asbestos in it just from remodels over the years and stuff, so. Yeah.
It's gonna make me vomit.
When you spoke with the owner, did they give any indication they are making efforts at addressing any of these issues? Did they make it seem like it was a serious matter? What was the kind of?
No, he thought that the structure was structurally sound and that this resolution would not pass tonight. So I know he's in the process of trying to sell it because I had a realtor call me and ask me about it, and I couldn't give a whole lot of information. But I know the realtor said that they weren't going to take on that property.
How's he gonna get anybody to walk through it? That's,
Might be like that gentleman down there on the, what street was that, Ohio? The sight unseen one that we had about 2 months ago?
yeah.
Might be
We
another
should
one of
call
those.
him, maybe he'll buy it.
Yeah. see if
I'm
we
working
can
with
get him
that
to buy it.
property owner right now.
The only issue I see with this one is it was built in early 1900s, 1899. It is a historic property, but it has been that way for numerous years. And it doesn't look like they have any intent of fixing it. So I don't know how it can change hands being in that condition. And you said it's sold twice?
That I can
That's
tell,
what I'm
and that's
trying to
an
figure out.
educated guess. Because when you look on the county assessor's website, you can see where deeds were.
You happen to know what they're asking for it?
I have no idea.
Okay, okay.
No.
This is
I wish Lewandowski was here, he could give us the history of the house.
probably,
Yeah.
We can call the rec center manager. She can give you the history on the house.
there is,
Rec center manager?
She owns
Did
that?
you
or-
see
No,
that
her
picture?
parents own that. The
I
rec
can't
center's
find
manager is
my
my
house.
cousin.
My computer won't
Her
go to the
parents
house.
lived in, and she grew up in that house.
Oh, I grew up in it, okay.
okay. Is there any discussion? Anybody have any questions? Were the dogs still in the house?
Oh, there was like 8 dogs in that
Oh,
house.
yeah, no.
And one that just had puppies.
I don't think we have much of a choice with this one.
Kind of don't.
Okay.
In the event we go ahead and declare it and it sells to somebody that's willing to revamp it or has the ability or funds to revamp it and remodel and repair it, can we pull it back off?
We can pull it back off as long as they have a contract or something in writing that says this is what they're going to do. I can't remember what we did it for before, but it can't just be they're selling the house. It has to be a significant, this is the contractors we have. There has to be something in place. We would work with them, of course, but.
How quickly after we declare it would we do it, go out on CES, like state contract, to get it demolished? Or
So we have others, so we would have to kind of prioritize them and see where it would fall into. I'm not
so
sure,
maybe a couple months before it would be torn down?
I would say. Mhm.
And is there electricity in this house?
No.
No electricity? Any-
In the mother-in-law suite, there is, and they're running an extension cord from it to the main building.
So the brother lives in the mother-in-law suite?
So the property owner lives in the mother-in-law suite, that's not really bad, other than the flooring that has some major concern. But his brother, the older brother, lives in the actual house, the 3-story house, on the floor in the living room.
There's a lot of pictures here that you guys don't see.
And we
It's-
took 200 pictures of
Yeah,
that.
there's like 200 pictures here, and it's way worse than what you see. Okay, well, no discussion. Do I have a motion to consider and act upon item 9?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner McDonald. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead.
A second from Mayor Pro Tem Wright? Did you have any more questions, or?
No, I was
Okay.
going to second it, but
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Carl Melton,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Dusty Wright,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay. I'm a little speechless after that one, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. That was pretty bad.
I hate tearing down stuff like that old stuff.
I hate tearing it down, and I'm sad that people live like that. It makes me sad. It really does.
You know, if it was a brand-new house out in Dusty's district, that's one thing, but, you know, the house has been there over 100 years, 125 years, you know. So,
It's just sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. It really is.
It is.
It's,
yeah, maybe somebody will come in and buy it, and we can pull it back off, so.
okay. We're going to move on to item 10, consider and act upon ordinance,
Madam Mayor, this has to be corrected. Instead of ordinance 1670, it has to be 1680.
okay, I do have that here. Consider and act upon ordinance 1680 for the first publication to approve a local economic development project for secured assistance proposed by Learn New Mexico, and Michelle Perry is the owner. Hello there.
Hello, Mayor, Commission. Hello, good evening. This is this presentation is going to be a very stark contrast to previous topics, and so...
lighten it up, Michelle.
Yes, I'm going to try my best. Those were heavy decisions that had to be made tonight. I want to start first, as you can see, that this is going to be a little bit of a presentation, but I want to start first with who I am. My husband and I moved here in 2014 from a nearby community, and at that time we were public educators. Both have since retired. I opened Learn New Mexico, which is one of my two companies, during the pandemic. I thought, what better time than to open a business than during the pandemic? And so I did. I've had great success going into my third year. My family, it was all around the world, as my dad was enlisted, and he ended up retiring here from the United States Air Force. Also, my husband's family is born and raised here in Alamogordo. Both of his folks graduated high school here. Both of our kids graduated high school here. And we're glad to say that in retirement and in this next chapter, we're still very happy to be a part of this community. And what we both aim to do in this community is improve, increase, and expand, especially in the economic ventures. Having explained all that, I'd like to also talk about the last time you saw me here. The last time you saw me here at this podium, I was talking to you about a grant program. Unfortunately, that grant program turned out to not be as fruitful as what we had hoped. So the Center of Commerce, who had commissioned me for that work, decided not to pursue those grant funds. And so the Alamogordo Innovation Center that you heard about at that time went on the back burner. However, I could not stop thinking about the opportunity that such a location could provide here to our city. So the city has a LEDA application, Local Economic Development Act funds, and I want to be very, very explicit about that these funds are used explicitly to grow the economy. And there is an application process of which I had to follow, and that process tonight will be discussed. I will talk explicitly about the points I've made in the application. You have the whole packet in front of you as well. So I took the opportunity to apply for funds, and I would like now to show my presentation, maybe. I don't know if that's possible.
You have a little clicker there somewhere?
Oh, here it is. Great. Okay. So the goals of the Innovation Center: to promote entrepreneurial, small business, to provide flexible leasing options for prime space, collaborate with local small businesses, promote and train high-needs workforce skills, and grow Alamogordo's economy. So hoping to provide a collaborative effort for our innovators, our entrepreneurs in this town. This particular location, called the Alamogordo Innovation Center, would reach out and provide an opportunity for those people to build brand, to be exposed, for those people to research and develop, access cutting-edge technology, accelerate their small business, and grow their small business into a successful venture. One of the 3 purposes for the Innovation Center is going to be a co-working space. So not only will it be the Innovation Center and be all of those things I've described, it will also be a co-working space. So a co-working space is basically a cost-effective crowdsourced effort to provide internet utilities, rent, insurance, and services that would be cost prohibitive for new businesses, for businesses that would be starting out on their own. This co-working space would also host events and open working spaces for collaboration. We would hope to have it open 24/7 so that all members of the Innovation Center would have access as they needed. And then, of course, it reduces the unfortunate effects of the work from home movement of isolation. A lot of work from home these days provide us the nice flexibility that we as employees may need and want, but it also provides isolation. And so having a co-work space helps us get around other people and helps us come to social gatherings. And finally, the third purpose is a shared commercial kitchen. This would be for home goods, food trucks, catering, classes, like utilizing the kitchen for classes. My business is the sole provider of ServSafe Food Manager courses and certificates in this community. And so using an actual commercial kitchen to be able to provide that training for our food managers would be really amazing. So this next slide gives you many examples. Those are hot links on your end, and so if you were interested to get eyes on an example of what this might look like, you can look at any of those. You'll be able to see right away the pricing does differ dependent upon their location. El Paso is a little less expensive than Albuquerque, things like that. Colorado Springs is a little more expensive than Albuquerque. And so obviously we would price structure out similar but to our local economy. So I won't belabor that because I do think that you have that ability to quickly click on any of those that you want to look at. We did a market analysis, and you can see that the to the positive, the yes and the maybe gains the garner of those responses. So especially I'd like to bring out questions 4 and 5, and it looks like the numbering got manipulated. But the last 2 on that slide, you can see training venue, meeting space for companies with technology resources as resounding yes, and then entrepreneurial and networking hub a resounding yes. The folks who were asked to fill this survey were standard community members, but most importantly, business leaders in our community were asked to do this particular survey. So potential revenue, as I am proposing that, that this turn into a business venture that generates economic impact for our community, I wanted you to feel confident that I had worked out the potential revenue that this venture could generate. And so you can see there going down the left side, the product, and then the amount of customers that I would need to acquire in order to meet those yearly revenues. So my application was for $1.3 million to renovate a building, purchase and renovate a building. The economic impact coming back to the community would be over $3 million, according to the estimates of which I gave analysis to you in your application and in your packet. And you can see over the course of 5 years that that economic impact comes back to you in stages. So the potential location, this is a 9,000 square foot building. It is sitting vacant, and the plight of those who have vacant homes and that they are deteriorating is not lost on me. I would not ever want that to happen to this location, especially if we can help it. And so that's what I'm asking, is that we look at this location as this could be a beautiful place where not only we would locate our innovation center, but that people would gather. We would host venues, we would host conferences, we would support our entrepreneurs and our small business leaders of our community. And I'm just going to end on just a few little last points. One is, for me, as a business owner, former educator, education is a core value. In addition to that, business is a passion. I would not have come into business myself had it not been for the support of my community, specifically the Small Business Development Center and the Workforce Solutions Department. These folks stood behind me and gave me what I needed to support my own business ventures. And then in addition to that, I was able to take courses and get educated on what it means to be a good business owner. So I want to be able to be in a position that we can pass that on to the next budding entrepreneur, the next small business operator. I also, want to drive home the fact that people are craving physical proximity at this point. As I mentioned, I have a consulting company. Learn New Mexico is a consulting company, and I consult with school districts across the state, everywhere in the state. And everywhere I go, they want me there in person. They don't want me on Zoom. They don't want virtual meetings. They want me there. I'm driving to the Four Corners to go and deliver professional development to educators in person because that's how important it is. And so this physical proximity is a real thing, and the work from home movement is not going to go away. And I do believe that this is a nice, safe, and wonderful place that we could provide for a community who does work from home. And one last little thing, and just giving homage to our city's name, Alamogordo. I want you to remember that a single leaf working alone provides no shade. So I am after a pretty altruistic goal in asking for these funds, and I do not take it lightly, the amount of trust that you will have to have in me. Stephanie and I have concurred a lot on this particular topic, and the transparency and accountability is very exponentially important, and we both agree on how that should transpire and move forward so that I can ensure economic impact can be leveraged in this community. So I have blueprints here that I can share with you and show you where the remodel efforts, all the remodeling and the construction to repurpose and refurbish this building would obviously be local. And so you can see that the red lines would be where we would add walls, and I could go into further detail with you if you wish on that. Also to the left here is an inspiration board in which that gives you the theme and the motif that we're going for, and hopefully making it a very classy space in which people want to visit and be a part of. And I know I went through a lot of information at a really fast rate, but I also realize that you're going to have a lot of questions, and I'm very excited to answer them.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. It says here that you have a plan for one business storefront to rent out.
I do.
What are you thinking in terms of minimizing disruptions from that, assuming there's customers and whatnot, to the people that are actually there?
I love that question. Thank you for that. And it would be a business whose priorities and goals are in line with mine. So I will tell you, I have been in actual talks with the Center of Commerce so that they would come alongside and be that storefront.
Oh, okay.
And that makes sense, right, for economic driving.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, do you have any more questions? Anybody? Okay, so I have a couple, of course I do. Okay, because I know that you're not going to end here. I know you well enough to know it's not going to stop here. So what are you thinking? What does the future look like?
The future looks like we have an innovation space in which people come from other places to gather and use this space for conferences, for meetings. They come to use our internet and our Wi-Fi and get a cup of coffee. They come to Hot Desk, and they come to the semi-private office that they've rented, and they come to network. And then most importantly and dear to me is that I'm utilizing this space to teach. to educate. We're providing this space as an educational venue, and that could mean a whole lot of things. The last time I was here, I was speaking about workforce demands and skills and how necessary it is we address the skill shortage that we potentially have in this community, and I want to be a part of that solution. I want to be a part of educating our community to become a better community.
So you would kind of be open to anything, really?
Well, it's an innovation center, so
Right.
anything innovative I would adore and love to bring
Okay.
aboard there. And then the space there in the building allows for lots of different types of activities, all the way from what we call hot desk, where you come in and just rent a hot desk for a minute so that you can have a meeting, to a conference room so that you can have more than one person and have it kind of private, to a large conference space, all technology equipped.
Okay, and I'm looking, I probably missed it, because it was a little overwhelming. So LEDA is based on job creation, and I get that. So how are we, where, am I missing that? What am I missing? Did you guys see that? And I didn't? or-
Payback works.
Where's that?
It's kind of like how the payback works.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where in your slides you have.
So I have not attended necessarily to the specifics of the payback, except in that one with the circles, that one slide. In the last
see that.
attachment, I think we have a proposed payback plan.
So in my analysis, Mayor?
Yes,
In
I'm
my
sorry.
analysis to you, I don't know what page it is on there because it's all scattered. I have an analysis of how it's going to pay back, the little like spreadsheet type. I don't know what
Okay.
page it is. My pages are all messed up. So
52 as well.
I'll just run through it.
She's talking about this with the.
Okay, that's what Stephanie's talking about, yes. And, okay, yes, I see it, okay. I'm sorry, we're all
It's
trying to
okay.
be on the same page here.
I'm glad.
Okay, so that is in there, okay, all right. And then, I mean, because I love this idea. I love this idea, and I'm excited to see, what you can do with it. I could just envision even more training and opportunities. Not everybody's cut out to go to like traditional college. Of course, we've all talked about that. I think it's almost sort of a buzz term right now, or a buzz comment to say that, but it is true, and certainly we've discovered more of that
And
with
I would
COVID,
be
so.
totally remiss to not mention that this building was originally a business college.
I actually said that today, didn't I?
So
I
it is
remember
coming
when it
full
was a
circle.
business college. No, I do remember that. Do you remember that? It's been a while ago, but,
It was either called the International Business College or the Western Business Institute, thanks to the crafty work of my.
I feel like it was
my PI.
International Business College.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was.
We were, my assistant was on the hunt for that today, hoping to find what it was called.
Well, and
But
we
I
moved
think
here in
it's-
January of '94, and it was a business college then. I very much remember that. Before, and then it turned into like a cattle baron or a cattleman's or something like that, something.
Steakhouse for a little while.
Some kind of steakhouse, and then it was my very favorite steakhouse that's now closed down. But anyway, okay, so,
Mayor?
Ryan, we can make steak one day. For old times.
well,
Is this property owned by a private individual or a
Yes,
mortgage
it is.
company?
It is owned by a private
it
individual.
is.
Mayor, if I could, I just kind of want to go over, I know it was a packet of like 100 pages, so there was just overwhelming information thrown at all of you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if you can hear that ringing
That
noise.
buzzing, yeah, okay, I'll speak louder. So I went through, this is brand new for Alamogordo. This is kind of not what traditionally we have been looking at for economic development. We did Medland Ranch, we did the cookie factory, we've done more on the manufacturing side. So I worked with the state. This doesn't qualify for state LEDA. That's always my first, go to the state, see if you can get their money first, and then see how we can supplement that. It doesn't qualify for the state, but in talking with them, it does qualify for municipalities that are under, I want to say 40,000, because LIDA allows for the municipalities to grant awards for businesses that are needed in Alamogordo
Right.
and not defined by the state
Right.
statute and in those boxes. So it was a lot of conversations that I had with the state before I really even engaged Michelle about it, just because I didn't want to get anybody's hopes up to say that we can do this or we can't. I think there's some things to note that although she has requested 1.3 million, we can only go up to 1 million because LIDA has to be for very specific things. Renovate, in this case, it would be for the building, land, and for any permanent renovations. So she cannot use the money to outfit a kitchen or to outfit any of the other rooms that she wants to. So there's going to have to be a component where she has to kick in some funds. And I have discussed that with her, and she has done her due diligence on how she's going to supplement to outfit the building. There was a lot of support from the community, and you have the letters of support from the leaders in the community as well, Senator Griggs. And I think it's really important that this is so out of the box that you have to know that we're so technologically advanced, and this is the only place that actually does the 360 immersive, I don't know what you call it, but it's technology. And I reached out to the list that she had there, some of them, not all of them, and I worked with some of how it works over there. This is unique that none of them have a kitchen. None of them have any of that. It's more just office spaces, and it doesn't really provide for what this is. So it is really a unique business within New Mexico itself. I think another important thing to talk about is some of the LIDA we have given, the companies have gone under and they've left and we haven't been able to collect. I think it's important to note that they have strong ties to Alamogordo, that they're not going to just up and leave us. And although I 100% believe that this can be successful in this community, it's always what happens if it's not successful. How are we going to recover? Well, we'll put a mortgage on the building. We'll follow that. And the building itself, I went on the walkthrough in it. I took people around it, and it's a very usable building for the city. It's almost like the Civic Center. It'll be upgraded. It would be something that the city could absorb with minimal cost on our side, just as a bookable, rentable space for us. I put in there the participation agreement that spells out exactly what is expected, the jobs that she's going to create, the trainings that she's going to need to, or the events for the networking for the community, the training, the number of individuals she has to train to go into the workforce. And so documentation was going to be a hard one, so I had to work with finance to determine how are we going to document all of that. How are we, if she's training individuals to go out into the workforce, then that's not her economic development, but how can we track that? So she's already has a plan on how they're going to document, if they're going to go through here. He cut me off, he doesn't want me to talk anymore. So she has the documentation down on how she's going to prove that she's training people and they're going out and making a minimum of $15 an hour. So.
Yeah, I think that's really important that we get those numbers. I just think it would be good for us as a city as well, so, for a multitude of reasons, but, okay. I was going to ask you something else, and I don't remember what it was.
Can you walk me?
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say, can you walk me through, have you seen Stephanie's report that she sent over to us? Has Michelle received a copy of that?
Yes.
Can you just walk through that cost recovery on the jobs creation side of things? Because I see a project manager listed here out in year 4 of 100,000, and then the Innovation Center Director. Are those positions that project manager, obviously the director's directly tied, are all those
Correct.
direct positions that are going to be within the Innovation Center? Okay. And then the 24 newly trained employees would be people that you're sending back out into the workforce? Okay. And so for those 24 newly trained employees, what do you, in your, expertise, what are you expecting to train people into? What types of jobs are we going after.
I believe
or
soft
helping?
skills training is one that I've heard a lot of business owners say they would just love us to do some soft skills training. Anything that has to do with business startup, you know, being an entrepreneur, coming alongside SBDC and being able to promote those trainings because they speak to the same delivery message. And then I had mentioned that I am the sole person in the community who does safe serve food manager courses and exams. And I've had over 100 people come through my courses in the last 2.5 years. So that also contributes to those individuals that I would track into the community.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, did you have any more questions?
that's it.
Okay. No, okay. I'm wondering, what about people from other, like Ruidoso, and do you see them utilizing this, or, because I think they could.
I do believe that people coming from all different corners of our state would be in good hands at our Innovation Center. So I'm thinking along the lines of, journeymen in electricity and plumbing and construction, and I'm thinking along the lines of their trainings and meetings, and then coming to a generalized location. So we always used to have this joke in my previous career that, well, we had to go to Albuquerque to have all of our meetings, because God forbid should we ever go to the southern part of the state. So that's become less as times progress. Las Cruces has become quite the hub, and so you go to these large cities for these statewide trainings. Well, my goal is to pull some of that traffic up here to Alamogordo.
Right. Because not only would it be good for your center, but it would be good for Alamogordo as a whole.
Hotels, restaurants, the whole.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with that. I think we were in a meeting the other day, and we had a gentleman, and he said, "Oh, I want to put a spotlight on southern New Mexico." And I said, "I want to put a spotlight on Alamogordo." And so these are the kinds of ways I think that we can do that. And give our citizens an opportunity, which I think is even bigger than what you're talking about. You kind of alluded to it earlier, that we need a better trained workforce. And I think that if people have those opportunities, that they will get them. But I could see people going, "Oh, no, 2 years of college, 3 years of, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I need to do something now," right? Because they're raising a family or whatever. So I think this sort of fills in that gap where they will have those more immediate opportunities, rather than school's not for everybody, so.
And personal connection and relationships has been kind of a cornerstone in the training and development that we do at the company. So we're very conscientious about anybody that comes through our doors or comes into any of our training programs about really promoting their livelihood. And my staff go through to great lengths to ensure success for people. And I think honestly, that's a real attribute to the kind of people that we have here in our community. We have people who want to help each other.
Yeah.
And so
And
I
wanna
want to
see people
capitalize.
succeed.
I
Yeah.
want to capitalize on that for the community. And I want to have a place where people can come and be a part of that energy.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Just real quick, I was looking at some of these examples that you'd put out there. Have you tracked any of the traffic or the success rates of some of those in other communities?
I have to a certain extent. So I started this project many, many months ago, and I actually have visited a couple of those locations myself, and they do quite well. Just, for a general scope of, like, what is the money to be made in this kind of venture? So I did a little research, and we're talking about over $16 billion in potential poised revenue by 2027 on Innovation Center or co-work spaces. And so this is not a new thing, but this is something that's new to our location.
Sure.
And so as it being a viable business and a viable business sector, all my indications, because I'm putting a lot of my own money on the line here, too. So all my indications are that this is a viable business plan. This is a model that succeeds and does well, especially being as it's not just office space.
Sure.
You know, it's beyond that. It's more than that. There's more to the story.
And there's a potential possibility of expanding into the trades, possibly
Most
with like NMSUA or something?
NMSUA has their programs. I would, point anybody to NMSUA to say, hey, you want to go get a certification through the college, the university, please. Our programs will be more training-based. And I'm most interested in stackable certificates. I'm most interested in badging. So that it's kind of a different way to look at education. I feel philosophically education's got some room for improvement in general.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can get all the book smart you want, but if you can't put it to practical use, then it probably is not going to do you a lot of good. So. Okay, does anybody else have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment. I read through the entire document twice. And sometimes when you see a person who has succeeded in the businesses that you have right now, I think over the course of the few years that I've seen you work, you've got the general knowledge of what is actually needed here, and not just here, but within the state. So I was excited, and I noticed one thing that was missing, and that was a coffee shop.
I agree. And there is this really cool, let me show you. There's this really cool bar in one of these rooms. You may remember when it was Pepper's. That will be our coffee shop.
Is it?
Yes, ma'am. May I be so bold to say that will be our coffee shop.
So you've sold Commissioner McDonald on it now. So.
All it took was coffee. We got you.
Got to have that coffee.
You have an understanding with the owner of the building?
I have an understanding with the real estate agent who has an understanding with the owner of the building. Yes.
So it's not like you don't know what it would cost?
No, yeah, he and I have been in constant communication. I invited him to be here tonight, so that's how transparent I am.
Anybody else have any questions? No? Okay. Do I have a motion to consider and act upon item 10? I'm not going to read it again. We've got it.
I'll go ahead and make a motion
Okay, I have
To
a
approve.
motion from.
to
oh, I'm
approve
sorry, go
ordinance
ahead.
1680.
Okay. I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Wright. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner McDonald. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Carl Melton,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Josh Roden,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Dusty Wright,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
And now the work begins.
And I got a lot of work to do. Thank you.
We're very excited
And I
for
would like
you.
the Alamogordo Police Department to come and have your conferences all the time at our place.
And coffee. Don't forget the coffee.
And coffee, and anything you want.
Congratulations, Michelle.
Thank you, Mayor and City Commissioners.
Okay, and with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Wright. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? And we are adjourned.
So how soon will you be able to check for your